Welcome, welcome, welcome to this, what I assure you will be an amazing No Kings, No Billionaires call. My name is Mariah Parker. I'm with the Union of Southern Service Workers. We're certainly going to be out there in the streets on October 18th, standing up with hopefully many of y'all. I want to see every single one of y'all out there standing up against the authoritarian right-wing attacks on working people in this country. While we get started, please go ahead and drop your, what state you're in, your city, and if applicable, what organization you're repping tonight. We love to see who we got on this call. And while we wait, I'm also going to pass it over to Vanessa for some interpretation instructions so we can practice some language justice on this call. So Vanessa, take it away.
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much. Estas son las instrucciones de justicia lingüística. Si ustedes quieren escuchar en español, en unos momentos van a ver ahora en la pantalla, abajo de todo, que hay un icono que dice interpretación de idiomas. Opriman ahí. Si no lo ven, busquen uno que dice more o más. Luego opriman interpretación de idiomas y pueden escoger español. Y luego toquen done o hecho o finalizado. Si están en un teléfono móvil, esto está ubicado abajo a la derecha. Y ahí pueden escuchar toda esta reunión en español. Muchas gracias. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, well, let's get on into it now. We are going to hear from some of the heroes in this moment fighting back against Trump's attacks on Black and Brown communities and calling to tax the billionaires instead of using our tax dollars to make them richer and investing that money in terrorizing our people. So I'm first going to bring up my brother Jackson Potter, CTU Vice President, to introduce the mayors on tonight's call. Jackson, talk to the people.
Yeah, happy to. Thank you so much for that introduction. And we've got a number of really amazing, incredible speakers tonight. But I want to talk about a personal friend and somebody who has really been clutch in this moment of occupation. It's why labor and community needs to come together at this moment. We have what one New York Times reporter called a deranged racist in the White House. And Trump is pathologically targeting cities led by Black mayors like my own, Chicago, and being led by the very capable and clear and just Brandon Johnson. These Black mayors in most cases are presiding over the largest drops in violent crime in a generation while resisting the efforts by federal troops and agents who are kidnapping immigrant grandmothers, putting Black youth in headlocks after random and discriminatory traffic stops. So to tell us more about this moment, how perilous but critical it is, for us to stand in the gap and stand up and stand strong and stand in solidarity is my brother and proudly my mayor, Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson.
Well, thank you, Brother Jackson Potter, and good evening, everyone. I'm grateful for you all's unwavering commitment to justice. The President of the United States of America is an unstable and double-minded individual. What he is promulgating in this moment is not about the things that he has described. It's not about crime. It's not even about immigration. This is about an individual who wants to take sole control over our government. In other words, he wants to be a king. Chicago has been a repeated target because we haven't given in, we haven't surrendered, we have not bent the knee to this type of authoritarianism. And so we've come together, standing up collectively to defend our democracy and, of course, the sanctity of our humanity. It's important that we remain vigilant and calm and undeterred as we push back even harder. And we're going to stand firm in the face of whatever this wannabe dictator attempts to throw at us. But we've been resisting. We've come together as elected leaders, organizers, business leaders, faith leaders, mothers, fathers, grandparents to protect our residents and to stand up for our humanity. And as mayor, I've signed 3 executive orders to protect Chicago. And we are establishing the playbook for other cities around this country to follow because it is clear that the President of the United States of America has declared war on not just the city of Chicago, but cities across America. And so we put forth an executive order just this week, our ICE-free zones, which is an executive order ensures that our parks and our schools and our libraries will not be the site for federal immigration activity. We won't allow our vital public spaces to be a place for trauma when they should be places for community. And if Congress won't check this president, then Chicago will. We have a right to protest executive order. My right to protest executive order sets clear directives for our Chicago Police Department to follow, which are designed to ensure that every single Chicagoan can live out their inalienable right to free speech and to peacefully assemble, and that it has to be protected. And then, of course, today we have received a court ruling. And even with the court ruling, it was clear that the President of the United States of America lied again. He said that he was going to federalize the National Guard to combat crime and to get the worst of the worst off the streets of Chicago. Well, even in their own argument, they said that it wasn't about crime and it wasn't about immigration. And so they lied yet again. But I'm grateful, though, that we have so many people who are committed to ensuring that our democracy is intact and that the hardworking people of the city of Chicago are committed to holding President Donald Trump accountable. And my last and parting words here, this president wants to dilute the rule of law so that he alone is exempt from following it. And in Chicago, we are not going to stand for it. Thank you all very much.
Y'all, let's make some noise for Mayor Brandon Johnson. You are such an inspiration to all of us across the country. Thank you for your courage and your commitment to all workers. It's so inspiring. Let's show some love, give some claps, give some hearts, make a little party, a little party sounds before we bring up our very next guest. I'm very, very excited to bring up Mayor Karen Bass from LA to tell us more about how to organize and fight in these unprecedented times.
Right, I think we got to move to the next speaker and we can loop back if Mayor Bass is able to hop on.
I got you. We got to stand strong and we got to be flexible, move with the moment. So with that, I'm really glad that we have Keya Chatterjee, ED of Free DC here on the call. Who's going to talk to us a little bit about this moment of repression that we're in and how rising authoritarianism is linked to this broader war on working people. Keya also is going to speak with us some on how to align our cities to resist this repression, to unify our demands around workers over billionaires, and pooling our collective resources to advance a compelling vision for the future. So, Keya, talk to us some about the great work that you're doing in DC.
Thank you so much, Mariah. Thank you so much for having me, everyone. I am coming in here from Occupy DC. We are almost 2 months into the occupation of DC, and we still have gangs of federal agents that are masked, that are kidnapping people, that are attacking people. We still have military-grade weapons that are on our streets. They have thrown the military at us. We have had 7 bills that have passed through the House, initiated by Republicans, but with lots of support from Democratic Congresspeople as well. 29, 30 Democrats often voting for these bills, attacking DC's democracy and DC's autonomy. One of these bills started treating 14-year-olds in DC as adults in our criminal justice system. They allowed high-speed chases in DC. So they have thrown the U.S. military at us. They have thrown the U.S. Congress at us. They have thrown Stephen Miller and his racist task force at us, and we are getting stronger every single time they attack us in DC. So when they started out with the mass firings, we were growing by 400 people a week. When they froze our local tax dollars, $1.1 billion of our local tax dollars, we started growing by 2,000 people a week. When they started the occupation of DC on August 11th, we started growing by 6,000 people a week. So every time they attack us, we only get stronger. That is what our movement is fundamentally about. They try to divide and dominate, and we play as a team, not only in DC with diverse participation, but across the 5 occupied cities of this country right now. The 5 cities they are attacking: Memphis, LA, Chicago, Portland, DC. We stand together. They're trying to wear us down, but we are out here caring for each other. both within our cities and across cities. We are helping each other out. They are threatening us constantly to try to get our elected officials to obey in advance before they even make them obey. But we are not allowing that. We're holding our elected officials accountable to make sure that they have collected courage, like the courage we just heard from the mayor of Chicago. They are trying to sow confusion. They're trying to distract us, but we are only getting more unified. We are only getting more focused. We understand that it is the billionaires that are in bed with this regime. They are the ones that are attacking us. Those are the people that we need to organize against. They want us to be violent. They want to paint us as violent. The only violence we see is the violence of their cruelty, the violence of the economic oppression that we have seen from these billionaires. So we don't take their bait. We have been joyful all along in DC, and we tell everyone to prioritize joy. We are out here dancing to go-go music in DC. That's what we are doing out here in the streets. And we are also, to be clear, directing traffic away from ICE checkpoints. We are chasing ICE out of our neighborhoods, and we are standing in solidarity so they can't pick everyone up. Today, they are going after immigrant communities. Today, they are going after Black and brown men. Today, they are going after our 14 to 17-year-olds who they're blaming for this. Today, they are going after our houseless population as though they are to blame for not having a home. But here's the thing, tomorrow it will be you and tomorrow it will be me. Today, it may be DC and these other cities, but tomorrow it will be your community if we don't stand together. And that is why on October 18th, we are all going to get up and we are going to go out and we are going to show how strong we are together, because that is who we are. We are loving, we are joyful, and we are in community. Thank you. And free DC.
Woo! Free DC. Y'all, please make some noise for Kaya. I wish y'all could see the goosebumps I have up and down my arm right now, feeling so inspired by the way that y'all have not only just stood strong in the face of this repression, but grown time and time again as they have attempted to repress y'all, attempted to intimidate y'all. And I think I speak for everybody in this chat when I say, we're not going to let them. We're not going to let them in DC. We're not going to let them in Atlanta. We're not going to let them in Portland. Anywhere they go, they will be met with fierce resistance of the sort that I absolutely need everyone on this call to show October 18th. If you have not found an event near you yet, go to nokings.org right now, type in where you live, find a way to join this movement, because it is going to take all of us. Just like you said, how they're coming for all of us, it's going to require every single one of us to fight back in order to take back our country. So thank you, Kaya. Woo! I'm having such a fangirl moment right now, but we do have to move on because we got a number of other amazing speakers in the lineup. I now want to bring up an organizer and freedom fighter who is behind the scenes of some of the biggest protests in U.S. history to oppose Trump and the billionaire agenda that he stands for, Danny Negrete. He's the national political director for Indivisible and the national coalitions coordinator for No Kings, which I need to see all y'all at October 18th. So Danny, please, everyone, give a lot of love to Danny for being on this call. Danny, take it away. Talk to us about October 18th.
Thank you so much, Mariah and Kay. It was so great to hear from you. I am so thankful to be on the call with all of you tonight. Honestly, this has been an incredible build-up to No Kings. This last week is going to be a sprint, but I'm just thankful to be here with all of you. My name is Danny Negrete, and tonight I'm here, as Mariah said, as the national coordinator for the No Kings Coalition, and we are thrilled about what is about to happen next Saturday. But first, I want to talk a little bit about what we accomplished together in June. To give a little bit of grounding here, back on June 14th, when Donald Trump was trying to have his little birthday parade here in Washington, D.C., we said, no, that is a clear sign of authoritarianism, of authoritarian creep. And that was right after the deployment in LA, where we saw federal forces deployed to crack down on peaceful protesters who were just trying to protect their own communities. That event on June 14th had over 2,100 events across the country and across 27 countries nationwide, or across the globe, rather. We had over 5 million people mobilized that day, and we built that moment with a coalition of over 250 partners at the state, local, and national level. Now, mass mobilization moments like this are not just about coming together and protesting, holding signs for a few hours on a day. It's about building a movement. And I know that the May Day Strong folks know that very well. And they know about doing that with a clear strategy in mind. You all have been doing it, and you're going to do it again next week. We are here to reject the narratives that this administration is trying to drive. We are here to draw in new folks and make sure that they know that there is a place for them in this movement, that they have a home here, even if they haven't been active yet, that they can be a part of this work. We're trying to change the political climate and make sure that people understand they are operating in an environment of backlash to this overreach, not an environment of consolidation. And we are building a community of resistance. We are bringing people in, making sure that they understand they are not alone in this moment, that we have power together. And I can tell you right now, we are doing these things. Like I said, we had over 2,100 events in June. And one of our goals for October 18th was to go bigger, to demonstrate that we are a growing opposition movement. And I am here to tell you right now that as of today, we have 2,500 events registered with No Kings, 2,500 events. We still got a week to go before the day comes. We are going to be bigger. We are going to be stronger than ever in peaceful, nonviolent opposition. And we're building this moment with a huge coalition of partners like all of you. Right now, we have over 270 partners that have joined this movement, and we're doing it with folks from across the labor movement, across progressive mobilization organizations, with civil rights community, racial justice community, immigrant justice organizations, trans justice organizations, and so much more. We have a lot that we are doing over the next week leading up to Saturday. One of the things that I'm most excited about is that we are getting out No Kings, Know Your Rights cards. We have sent out 3 million of them across the country to events in every state. These Know Your Rights cards have basic Know Your Rights information and a QR code that will take you to more information on how to learn how to protect your community, not just how to know your rights, but how to use them. We're also sending, I see American flags in the chat. We are sending out American flags. We've got flags going everywhere. We've got trainings too. I'm sure a lot of you have been on these trainings. You also have been on so many of the May Day trainings that have been so good. We've got trainings all week to make sure that our hosts and our attendees know their rights. They know what to do when they're talking to press and media. They know the message and they know how to bring people in and be participants in this moment. We are building this movement to be the biggest nonviolent, peaceful movement of opposition activists across the country, one where anyone can find their home. And we know that right now we are facing the greatest threat to our First Amendment that we have ever seen. They are cracking down on our right to protest. They are cracking down on our right to speak, our right to dissent, our right to gather, and our right to live. And we know that the absolute best way to protect our rights is to use them. So no matter what happens, what they say between now and next Saturday, we know that we're going to come together and we're going to show them in historic numbers, in historic volume, that we don't do kings, we don't back down, and we are in this together. So I am so thankful for all of you who are going to be out there on Saturday. Thankful for all of you who have been building for this moment together. Bring a friend, bring your family. Thank you so much. I will see you in the streets.
Yes, you most certainly will. Y'all show some love for Danny doing this important work behind the scenes to bring this historic movement together. Speaking of behind the scenes, I know y'all behind the screens right now. Y'all might be sitting in your living rooms, you might be alone riding in your car, but you are not alone. And you certainly won't feel alone when you get out in the streets in the hundreds, in the thousands, and feel the energy of your community around you and really feel your power. So please, 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 if you have not found a rally yet, it's not too late. We got a week to go. Please, please go on nokings.org. Find a place now, link up with folks, and start building the strength and numbers that we need to not only show them on October 18th, but keep this movement going and take it all the way to May 1st, 2026, so we can be out there in the streets with May Day Strong as well and take this power back from the billionaire class. All right, y'all. Up next, I'm very excited to introduce Aaron Hughes from About Face and Iraq Veterans Against the War. Y'all have all heard the historic refrain, honor the warriors, not the war. And we know that many people in the National Guard signed up to help people in disaster zones. When there are state and national level emergencies, not harass, protesters, kidnapping grandmas. Ain't nobody signed up for that. Like the things that we've been seeing in Chicago, LA, Portland, DC, that is not what folks like Aaron signed up to do, and they are making their voices heard in opposition to the ways these deployments have been attacking our communities. So I'm very, very excited for all of us to hear from Aaron from About Face, who will tell us more about their efforts to lead veterans, lead folks in the military against these occupations in our cities on Veterans Day and beyond. Aaron, thank you so much for being here. Talk to the people.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Aaron Hughes. I served in the Illinois Army National Guard from 2000 to 2006. I deployed to Kuwait and Iraq. That was a radicalizing experience, and it inspired me to join a group called Iraq Veterans Against the War, an organization that was formed of Iraq veterans coming back to speak out against the war and fight for peace and justice. I've been a part of that group since 2006, and we changed our name to About Face Veterans Against the War, and we are building, we are our post 9/11 veteran active duty military members and veterans organizing to end a foreign policy of permanent war and use military weapon tactics and values in our communities across the country. As people intimately familiar with the inner workings of the world's largest military, we use our knowledge and experience to expose the truth about these conflicts overseas and the growing militarization of the United States. We are informed by the powerful legacy of our forefathers, Vietnam veterans against the war. And we believe veterans have a specific role to play in fighting back against this assault on our communities. And that's why we're trying to organize veterans across the spectrum to come together to respond to these attacks. We have regional and local crews scattered across the country. And here in Chicago, we're building a Chicago citywide United Veteran Response. And we are focused specifically on GI outreach to the deployed National Guard, letting those soldiers that are concerned about their orders that they are not alone, that they have options and they have rights. They can apply to conscientious objection. They have a right and at times a duty to refuse illegal orders. And it has already been clear through the courts that these orders are illegal. We want them to know about their rights and their options through the Military Law Task Force. That number is 619-463-2369. We want them to know about the GI Rights Hotline. That number is 877-447-4487. And about Face, we have an encrypted communication system, bit.ly, Emil Rights, and we can directly communicate with active duty service members about their rights and their options. Here locally, we are working to organize against the ICE attacks on our communities with a specific focus on getting ICE out of the Hines VA. They are using our VA hospital, a minority serving institution, as a staging ground, and that's just not acceptable. We're not going to stand for that, and we're going to keep organizing against that. And I'm honored that we're partnering with the Mayday Strong Coalition on Veterans Day. We're calling on fellow veterans, military members, workers, migrants, and students to unite to defend democracy, demand justice, and end the war on our people. We have gained support from a number of unions, especially the VA unions, SEIU, FGE, AFGE, and our good friends at CTU. And we're excited to work with you all to keep building this movement because we think veterans have a specific role in pushing against these unjust invasions of our communities.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Aaron. Y'all show love for Aaron in the chat. Let's see y'all clap it up. Let's see some of them little hearts. Y'all make sure that you link up with Mayday Strong and About Face for the Veterans Day action. So thankful for the very important work that y'all are doing. And with that, y'all, let's keep it on moving. I know that we can win, and we need to both fight in the streets and at the ballot box. So now we're going to talk to someone who is living proof that when we fight, we win. I'm so excited to bring up next Justin Conley, a Colorado Spring teacher who just went on strike to show us why the struggle is worth it. Justin is from the Colorado Education Association. Justin, please tell us more about your strike and how it connects with our efforts to center workers over billionaires in the fight against Trump's regime and its assault on our communities.
Are you talking about me, Mariah? I'm not Justin.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Sam, I'm sorry, Mariah. I think we got
Hey,
mixed up.
No sweat.
my apologies.
No
I'm
sweat.
so excited that you are here to talk about the strike. Nonetheless, so you want to introduce yourself to the people and talk to us a little bit about what you all have going on in Colorado?
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. So yeah, we are really up against it here in Colorado Springs. We just went on strike for 1 day yesterday. It is very apparent that fascism is not just knocking at the door, it is inside the house. We are, teachers, we're the front line. We are with the kids. We are seeing, the impact on them. I have students in my classroom who are traumatized from ICE deportations. We had, security guard at the building, and a little boy came up and asked if, the cops were there for somebody. So it is disgusting to see that. The fight that we are facing in local Colorado, or, national school board races is essential. We are seeing grassroots, and we have seen grassroots movements to put in place far right people in school boards across the country. We are seeing lots and lots of dark money coming in from out of state to fund these candidates and do a lot of, astroturfing and stuff. And so we are fighting back. We are standing up. We will not be silenced. Our Board of Education is thick as thieves with Freedom Foundation. We had Ryan Walters, the disgraced former Oklahoma superintendent of public education, come to our strike yesterday. So, if we're getting big wigs like that for the fascists interested in shutting us up, then we're making the right noise. So yeah, I just want to encourage everybody, please get involved with your schools, get involved with local board elections, local municipal elections. It is crucial. They want to silence us. They want to put in place transphobic policies, divisive policies, racist policies, and we are seeing it every single day. They got rid of our bargaining agreement. They put in a handbook that can be changed at any moment without notice. It has already this school year. And there is no place for teachers at the bargaining table anymore. So we are not going to let that happen. We will shut it down. We will stand up, and our families are standing with us. The schools have been reaching out to community members. Building up those community relations is crucial. These people they're our everything. They are our roots to the community. And if we build those relations with them, we are going to be so much more powerful, so much louder. We've had No Kings. We had huge turnout for our last No Kings. And I expect, twice the numbers for this one. So thanks for having me. Solidarity forever. You guys are all beautiful people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam. Solidarity forever, indeed. I'm never going to forget that either. Fascism, authoritarianism, it's not knocking on the door, it's in the house. But whose house is this? This is our house. We're not going to let that go down in our house. Sam, we really commend your courage and really inspiring us to think so big about the tools at our disposal to fight back against these authoritarian right-wing attacks on the working class. We can't be afraid to take the streets in great numbers. We can't be afraid to put up candidates and pay attention who's running for office. And we can't be afraid to go on strike. if we don't get the things that we need. And so, folks, please also stay tuned, stay engaged in this movement. MaydayStrong.org is where you can go to loop into this movement building around May 1st, 2026 and beyond. I hope I continue to see each and every one of you out in the streets. And with that, I would love to welcome up next Pastor Keith Caldwell, a pastor of Centenary United Methodist Church with Tennessee for All and a spokesperson for the Free the 901 campaign. He's going to talk to us some about winning against authoritarianism, turn back the consolidation of white nationalist power in this government. And then it'll take all of us. It's going to take labor, community, clergy. It'll take every single one of us on this call, which I might add is 1,000 people. We 1,000 people strong in the building tonight. So, Pastor Caldwell, you have an uncanny ability to help unite us all. Please tell us more on how we are stronger together.
All right, thanks, Mariah. So again, I'm here in Memphis, Tennessee, which is a 63% African-American and Black city. We have a Governor Lee in Nashville, who has worked against us. He's been governor for 7 years, and he's not done anything for us. We tried to pass for handguns to have a permit. He overturned it. Then he talks about we're being violent here. There are 13 agencies that have come in and started to arrest people, and the National Guards came in last night. So what we're seeing is we have 21 organizations that are working collectively we have ACLU, we've got tenant unions, we have Vecinarios 901, and that's an immigrant workers group that we've been working closely with because they have mass arrest lately. So they've arrested about 2/3 more people. We had 1,500 people arrested this past week here in Memphis. Now, Memphis is the place where a pastor centenary, Reverend Jim Lawson, just passed away last year, invited Dr. King to Memphis when he was assassinated. So we know that we had the sanitation worker strike, and that faith and labor bond was built, and for a generation, it was helpful for all of labor. We currently have a mayor who is against collective bargaining. And so he's trying to prevent firefighters and all that in the city where King was assassinated for collective bargaining rights, among other things. So what we are saying now, the community is at high alert, but we've come together and we said we don't want to waste a perfectly good crisis. So the internal kind of conflict that different organizations have been having around the 501c3 industrial complex, where we've been fighting for crumbs that have fallen from the table, has been removed. And we know that we have one adversary, and that is the one who thinks he's a king and an emperor, and we're working to make a difference. So that's what I have for you.
Pastor Keith Caldwell, y'all, please make some noise. Show him some love in the chat. Show him some hearts, show him some claps. And make sure to sign on to the Governor Stand Up letter. That's bit.ly/Governor Stand Up. Once again, bit.ly/Governor Stand Up. Please join this movement, and please join me in welcoming up next Saqib Bhatti, the Executive Director of Action Center on Race and the Economy, Jackson Potter, as y'all already know, Vice President of the Chicago Teachers Union, and then Nady Dominguez, the ED of Organized Power in Numbers. We'll highlight these three leaders, but Saqib, could you please start us off talking about the great work of the Action Center on Race and the Economy?
Happy to. Thanks, Mariah. So, we know that what's happening right now is unprecedented. The Trump regime and their regime, right? They actually have billionaires running our entire government. This is the wealthiest cabinet in the history of the country, right? With the most billionaires. The net worth of the cabinet is $460 billion, right? Which is more than the combined wealth of 170 different countries. So we are going to be hosting a webinar on October 22nd on the billionaire power grab. So this is really going to be focusing on who are the billionaire oligarchs, how do we take them on, how do we fight back? So if you're interested in joining, please check out the link, which is bit.ly/billionaire power grab. The webinar will be October 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern, as I mentioned. Mariah mentioned earlier, there's nearly 1,000 of us on this call. while there's nearly 1,000 billionaires in the US, worth a total of $6 trillion. And so if you want to do some research ahead of time and figure out which billionaires are in your backyard, you can look up billionaires near you at classsolidarity.org. So we strongly encourage you to go there. You can search by state, you can search by sector to see who are the billionaires in your backyard. So Jackson, Nady, once we know who these billionaires are, like, how do we fight them? How do we take them on?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Saqib. I'm wondering if you might be able to put up the slide on the letter to our governors. I believe it's slide 17. And I think we are at a moment where our cities need to come together. You know, we see Trump's attacking Black-led cities in blue and red states, Memphis and Chicago, you know, Baltimore and Birmingham. And so we would love to send a strong message together. We need to unify across these imaginary borders and really start talking in one voice about the need to tax and check the power of the billionaires, to tax the rich, to block the right from using our resources, because we are donor cities, often in donor states, that give the federal government more than we receive back. And now what are they doing with those resources? They're weaponizing it to lock up our neighbors, to surveil our communities, to add stop and frisk on steroids and violate our constitutional rights. That's not what we need. We need Medicaid and Medicare for all. We need more funding for K-12 education, not more for ICE to harass and violate people's rights. How many people on this call tonight, and tell us in the chat, I want to know yes or no, are you willing to sign onto this demand that governors in our states should protect us from the Trump tax cuts and the occupation of our cities by military force, by taxing the billionaires? You can scan this QR code or go to the bit.ly in the slide and in the chat and sign up so we can get dozens of states making sure our governors protect the most vulnerable communities who are now being harmed the most by Trump's policies, and defend our democracy and push to stop our tax dollars from being used against us. I don't know if you agree, Saqib. I have a strong feeling that you do. I'm not sure if our sister Nady Dominguez wants to share any additional thoughts. Nady?
Yeah, and if you live in a place where you're like, this is a great idea, but we don't know if we have the power to get our governor to do this. There's the same idea about how do we get our mayors, how do we get our county commissions to be braver, to be bolder, to think about how don't they just give away our tax dollars through IRBs or tax breaks and incentives to developers and corporations, and think about how do we actually do economic development in our local cities and our local towns in a way that our government should use our tax dollars for our people and the majority of us. So we welcome ideas and your own creativity. How does this land in places where maybe the target is your mayor? It's not the governor. Maybe the target is your county commissioners, but within the same framework, which is the billionaires get everything and our people get nothing, and it's our tax dollars that should be working for us. So if you're on board with that, I also need you to just text the word solidarity to 58910. That way you get onto our own list, and we're going to share this same bit link in the text so that you can sign up and follow up with people. So again, if you can text the word solidarity to 58910, all of us have a role to play right now, and we are the only ones that are going to keep each other safe from undocumented immigrants that are being hunted down in our streets, to children that are tiny and being traumatized watching their parents being taken away with them, from young Black folks that don't feel safe being in public spaces in this moment either, in our own communities. but really it's going to take all of us to keep each other safe. And even if it's a text or a call or a signature, like all of those things count. So I welcome all of you to please take action. And if you haven't yet, text the word solidarity to 58910.
Thanks, Navy. And so, Jackson said earlier that we need to tell our governors to tax the billionaires. I completely agree. And my organization, ACRE, will be putting out a report next month on how states can raise billions of dollars by taxing the very billionaires that are driving the attacks on our communities. We're also working with partners to develop a resolution calling on public pension funds to stop doing business with the oligarchs profiting off the war on immigrants and driving DOJ's slash and burn agenda. So if we're planning on doing briefings, briefing webinars on both the tax and the pension campaigns, if you're interested, please scan this QR code and register for that. All right, to you, Mariah.
Saqib, Nady, Jackson, thank you all so much for all the incredible work that y'all are doing down on the ground in our communities every day. Y'all, please make sure to sign on to this pledge. That's bit.stand up. And I need everybody real quick to just imagine a minute. Millions of average women and men in the tragic position of trading in passion for wages and cash because they shackled by capitalism. Imagine a minute, millions of average citizens planting the spinach, waxing the kitchen, stacking the linens, contractors and renters and tenants, their labor extracted for pittance. What if they coordinated to address the sordid state of it in an organization? Well, guess what? No kings and no billionaires does, and not even sort of, it's more of the crux. Taking the power from hoarders of bucks, big bankers offshore and they cuts, returning the value of labor to those who create it, because the billionaires owe it to us. So please, say yes in the chat right now if you plan to march against kings and billionaires this October 18th with Indivisible and Mayday Strong. Please say yes in the chat if you plan to attend a Veterans Against War and Militarization event on November 11th. Make some noise in the chat if you have texted solidarity to 58910. And one last time, let me hear y'all make some noise in the chat if you plan to join a training to stop the billionaire agenda and organize workers to take escalating action against the attacks on our communities. All right, got a couple yeses in the chat, which gives me such great hope and faith that October 18th and November 11th and on and on and on until victory for working class people is won. Y'all got my back and I got yours. So everybody, that's it for tonight's call. Thank you so much for joining us. Please make sure before you go, tap into some of these solidarity action items that have been thrown out over the course of the call. They're so, so very important to building this movement and building this fight back. And we will see y'all in the streets on October 18th. Thank you very much.